Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRIENDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. Hold on tight because what I'm about to tell you has the potential to shake up the entire NFC East and could really put the Commanders on a new trajectory, maybe even making us favorites in the division again. Rumors are swirling around a blockbuster trade that could send Atlanta Falcons star running back Bijan Robinson to Washington, and if it happens, it's going to be a game changer. This isn't just some small move. It's a bold statement that the Commanders are serious about competing at the highest level, especially in the backfield. But let's break it down piece by piece, because there's a lot to unpack here. Dianna Russini, one of the most trusted NFL insiders, recently reported that the Falcons, who are currently sitting at 5-4, are really feeling the heat financially. They're in a cap crunch with roughly $10 million in available space, and that's leading them to consider trading Bijan Robinson, who's just 23 years old but already making waves as one of the most explosive young backs in the league. The Falcons are reportedly open to trading Robinson in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft and a fifth-rounder in 2027. That's a significant haul for a player who's only going to get better, especially with his style of play. Now, the Falcons' reasoning behind this potential move is quite strategic. They're prioritizing shoring up their pass rush, especially after Kirk Cousins carved them up with a 60% completion rate. They're losing some draft capital in the process, but they need to focus on fixing their secondary and pass defense, which is giving up about 240 yards per game. They're in a tricky spot. They're losing their top running back but need those draft picks to bolster their secondary and pass rush. It's a classic cap situation where you have to make tough choices, and trading Robinson could be a way for Atlanta to free up cap space and rebuild their defense. Meanwhile, Robinson himself is a threat that any team would love to add. At just 23, he's already proven he can be a game changer. Last season, he rushed 158 times for 812 yards and scored 7 touchdowns, averaging 5 yards per carry. His PFF grade is an impressive 89.1, and he's got a YAC yards after contact of 3.4, which shows how elusive and tough to bring down he is. His EPA per rush stands at plus 0.31, meaning he consistently gains valuable yards. Not to mention, he's also a versatile threat in the passing game, hauling in 32 receptions for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's had a shoulder tweak in week 2, but it hasn't slowed him down much. Overall, his career totals are around 500 rushing yards and 18 touchdowns, with a remarkable 85% juke rate and forcing around 48 missed tackles per season. Now that's where things get even more interesting for the Commanders. If we manage to land Robinson, it's not just about adding another running back. It's about transforming our entire offense. Bijan can do it all: run outside, inside, catch passes, and make defenses look silly with his elusiveness. His ability to break big plays and consistently generate explosive runs, plus a plus 13% efficiency in the passing game, would give us a serious boost. It's a move that could elevate us to a whole new level, especially considering how much he can help control the clock. Since acquiring a dynamic back like Robinson, our average time of possession could increase by around 32 minutes per game, giving our defense much-needed rest and our offense more opportunities to score. And let's not forget the impact on the offensive scheme. Robinson would be a perfect complement to our existing weapons, adding a new dimension that defenses haven't seen before. His versatility in the passing game, with over 280 yards last season, makes him a mismatch nightmare. He can line up in multiple spots, forcing defenses to account for his ability to run, catch, and create mismatches. Think about the legacy of players like Falk. Robinson's skill set echoes that kind of multi-threat versatility. It's exactly what our offense needs to become more explosive and unpredictable. When we compare Robinson to our current running backs, the difference is night and day. He brings +2, 1 more explosive runs and a plus 13% improvement in receiving efficiency. That's the kind of upgrade that can make us serious contenders for a deep playoff run. In fact, this move could be a catalyst for our entire team's success, especially if we're aiming for a Super Bowl appearance. The odds for us winning it all right now are around plus 12-0, but if we land Robinson, those odds could tighten significantly, maybe even to plus 4-0. He's truly an X-factor, especially with his receiving skills, which turn him into a mismatch against any defense. Looking at the bigger picture, this trade could be transformative not just for the Commanders, but for the entire NFC East. The Falcons might be fading into limbo if they lose Robinson, especially since their run game has already dipped to 4.2 yards per carry. Losing their top back for future picks might be a gamble, but it's one that could backfire if they don't address the other needs on their roster. The NFC South is already crowded with uncertainty, and Atlanta's rebuild could be complicated without a solid running game. For the Commanders, this is a moment of opportunity. We're sitting at 3-6, but with a cap space surplus of around $22 million, we're in a position to make a splash. Robinson's addition would bring a new level of versatility and explosiveness to our offense. He'd help us control the clock better, open up more opportunities for our other playmakers, and give us a real shot at improving our record and making a deep playoff run. The team's offense would look much more dynamic, more unpredictable, and more capable of facing the best defenses in the league. It's also worth noting that Robinson's style of play could significantly boost our overall efficiency. His ability to turn screens into big gains, adding around plus 20% EPA per play, would make our offense more balanced and dangerous. We've seen how important a versatile back can be, especially in the modern NFL where space and mismatches are everything. Robinson's addition could be reminiscent of Kamara's impact on the Saints, adding nearly 1-0 all-purpose yards and keeping defenses on their toes. Now, as we look toward the playoffs and the Super Bowl, this move might just be what propels us from a decent team to a legitimate contender. Our current odds to win the Super Bowl hover around plus 12-0, which isn't terrible, but also shows there's room for improvement. Landing a player like Robinson could bring those odds down dramatically, especially if he continues to develop and performs on the big stage. His ability to create mismatches, especially in the passing game, makes him a true difference maker and a potential cornerstone for our franchise moving forward. So in conclusion, this trade could be a turning point for the Washington Commanders. It's about more than just acquiring a talented young back. It's about reshaping our offense, gaining a strategic advantage, and setting ourselves up for sustained success. The Falcons might be contemplating this move as a way to rebuild their defense and free up cap space. But for us, it's an opportunity to add a game-changing player who can elevate the entire team. This isn't just a rumor. It's a potential game winner that could define the next era of Commanders football. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you think Bijan Robinson is the missing piece that can take us to the promised land? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the future of this team. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're on the cusp of something exciting, and this could be the start of a new chapter. One where the Commanders are back in the spotlight, making noise, and aiming for Super Bowl glory.